start with a couple things, and then I'll take whatever questions you have. Jericho Richardson and Julian Brooks have both been fully reinstated into the football program. I'm due to privacy issues and frankly team policy, I'm not going to get into what or why, only that they went through a process that they had to go through, and both guys are active and back with us full go. I saw it out there. There are 3 practices that are going to be completely open to the public here during training camp. Saturday, August the 10th at 4:30. Not only are we opening that to the public, I've reached out to every high school coach in a wide area here that we would consider local to invite them to bring their staffs as well. And we're going to let the high school coaches come on down to the field. Felt like it was important to reach out locally and make sure that those high school guys knew that they were welcome here. Saturday, August 17th at 7:30 at night will be a scrimmage in the stadium, and that's going to be open to the public. We'll make that fan appreciation night. We'll have our guys stay out and sign autographs and interact with folks after that one. And on Wednesday, August 21st at 4:30 p.m., that will also be in the stadium. That'll be open to the public. That's going to be faculty staff appreciation day, where we give the folks who work here on campus a chance to come down and hang out. Those are the only 3 practices that will be open to the general public. Obviously, we've allocated some other ones for you guys where you'll be able to come in and watch the whole workout. I think what we're doing here is pretty fair and pretty standard, to be honest with you, compared to everybody else in the country. Former players, any former letter winners, welcome to any practice. They just got to come out and identify themselves as a former player. I want to make sure that those guys know that they're welcome at any time. Obviously, there have been a lot of changes to the building. You're sitting in a room right now that is completely redone from what it looked like when we got here. I know that there's been concern with the report that the athletic department is going to finish the fiscal year in the red. The majority of what we did in the building was raised through private donations. I don't want people to feel like we came in here and we're just spending money recklessly. I've tried very hard to be fiscally responsible. There are things that some things in the transition just had to be done. Other things that were things we wanted done, we went out and raised the money for. Be honest with you, it's been great for the program. It's been good for our kids. The energy level when our players saw the locker room yesterday was a lot of fun. Just walking through there and having, watching them react as they came in the first time to see that was really good. And it'll be great in recruiting, but ultimately I don't want anybody to think that I've lost sight of the fact that we still need to go play. And no matter what our locker room looks like or what we're able to do to brand the building a little bit better, the bottom line is that this is training camp, and training camp is about going out there and grinding and the process and getting better. And that is where our focus is right now. The other stuff is just kind of nice, that's all. For me, guys, there's been 7 months of meeting and greeting and cocktail parties and fundraising events and all those things, and with a job like ours, that is part of the job description, and I have had no problem doing it, but I am excited to finally get to real football. Spring football was fun. It was all well and good, but it felt like every day that we weren't practicing, I was running out somewhere in a suit and tie for a lunch or an event or what have you. I'm very excited to wear flip-flops and shorts and t-shirts to work and just grind it out on football and be with our coaches and our players, and this is the part that you were dreaming about when you get the job, not the cocktail parties. So very anxious to get started, and like I said, it is now, just like we told the team last night, this is wall-to-wall football. Everybody in America is doing what we're doing right now, and that's short of a family emergency. All of our focus is just getting ready to practice every day and get a little bit better. Obviously, there's some questions we need to address during camp here. The first ones really have to be answered by practice 8-10, and that is which newcomers, whether it be a freshman, a transfer, a new walk-on, which newcomers are going to end up being in the 2 deep, and we're going to need them to win. We're going to teach fundamentals, and we're going to get the base portions of the package installed here in the first week. But the reality of it is, by the time we hit next Monday or Tuesday, we need to be able to say, okay, this group's going to redshirt. We got to get these guys caught up and ready to play. We got to figure out where the transfer guys are going to fit, what their roles are going to be, and really start to hone in on these 75 to 80 guys that are going to help us win football games throughout the course of the year. And that's really what the focus here is for the next week. I'd love to tell you that we need to teach them how to practice. I really felt like coming out of spring from practice 1 to 15, our veterans really figured out the way that we wanted to practice. And I expect that to continue. I'll be upset if we have to retrain the veterans as to our practice tempo and how things should look. The young guys are going to learn just by being out there and being brought along. We got to figure out here on the offensive line who are our top 5 going to be and what positions are they going to be in. It will look different than it did in the spring. I'm fairly confident about that with the influx of some new guys here. And we got to do the same thing in the defensive backfield. Who are our top 6, 7 DBs going to be, and where do they fit in terms of position switches, stuff like that. And frankly, if there's an area where you might see some freshmen have a chance to be in the 2 deep, it might be in the defensive backfield. And finally, we got to identify a field goal kicker. I thought Colin Ditzworth did a really nice job in the spring, but we brought Brent Zuzo in here, and that competition is going to be wide open, and whoever can consistently make kicks for us will be the guy that we put out there. And those are some of the issues that we have to get addressed, and some of the things that we're working on. So with that being said, I'll take any questions that you guys might have.
Brought up offensive line, defensive backfield, field goal kicker. Does that mean you're pretty comfortable with all the other positions?
I think at least we have a general idea. I mean, everything will be open to competition, but I mean, it's hard to say. I don't feel good about quarterback. I mean, or tight end. I mean, we have some positions that defensive line. I mean, we have some positions that are fairly well solidified now. Guys will rise and fall through camp, and that's the nature of camp. But if you talked about coming into camp, what are you really concerned about? I'm concerned about what's the combination going to be on the offensive line, who are the best 5 going to be, and where do we place them, and then the defensive backfield. It's not to say that jobs aren't open for competition. Guys will rise and fall, but at least we have a general idea going in at those other spots.
Could you expand on the emotions of maybe not being able to sleep last night, knowing that you waited so long to get to this moment, and then going forward, you're going to be coaching your first football game?
It's excited. I mean, it's really excited, and I tossed and turned last night, and not in a bad way. I mean, I feel like we're really prepared for training camp. I feel like we're really organized. I think our coaches, our support staff have done a nice job, and I spent the whole month of May while everybody else was out on the road. I spent the whole month of May planning camp and going through it 2 and 3 times to make sure that we did the best we could here in the first go-round and make sure we get it right. But I'm excited. I mean, I can't wait to get out there. It was fun being with the team last night. You have that administrative meeting, and that first kind of set the tone for the year, and it was fun seeing everybody again. And like we say, I mean, we work. It's a 12-month-a-year job, but we really focus on what's going to happen here over the next 3.5, 4 months, and this is what we do.
For those who don't get to be within these walls, what's the energy like in this building right now?
It's positive. It's fun. I think our guys have a little bounce in their step. Talked to Matt Eck this morning. We started today with a workout, and he said the energy in the weight room was really, really good. Guys are bopping around a little bit. And look, hey, this is training camp. We're going to hit a portion here where everybody's going to start to drag physically a little bit, but that's the nature of what we do. And then at that point, it's my job to try and re-energize everybody. But I'd say right now here it's pretty positive. It was fun Friday night at the Women's 101 event. It was fun to see our players who had come back to town a little bit early, hanging around, trying to peek at the locker room, seeing all the work that Fat Hat had done up in the building, and just it's fun to see them come back and react to the changes. And so it's been good, but it's time to grind now. So
you touched on it a bit earlier. For you, is it finally we get to coach football?
Yeah, very much so. And it's not to say that I don't enjoy being out and interacting, but there was a lot of that this year. You know, at times I was concerned that there was too much, but I followed the direction of the people who've been here longer than I have, who felt like they said, okay, you know, we need to continue to get out and engage. And I mean, you do all these things. I'm a waiter at Poodle This. You know, I'm all over the place. And frankly, like I said, I know that's part of the job requirement. I won't be out there as much next year. We kind of felt like first time need to get out and be in front of as many people as possible, in all these different requests that come in. But I'm here to help coach the football team, to run the football program, and I mean to be able to do that daily now and interact with our players and coaches every day and be grinding on football. I mean that's the fun part. It's the competitive part. There's no competition when you're pouring wine at a charity event. You know, there's no competition there. We're competing now, and that juice, that excitement about competition, getting ready, the process of preparing for competition, that's what gets your motor running. And to finally have that now is fun.
What are your expectations this year? Did you put a number on it? Is it
No
philosophy?
way am I putting a number on it. I will say this: we will go into every game with the intent to win. I've had people ask me, how are you going to keep it close at Florida State? How are you going to keep it close at UCLA? I have no intention of keeping it close. We're going to prepare the team as best we can every week to go out and win. You know, predictions, what are our goals? Our goals are to get our team focused on the process and to set a standard of expectations here that if they meet these expectations more often than not, we're going to win. Where there's going to be a standard of excellence that we're going to hold this team to on a daily basis. And when we focus on those little things that we decide are important, ultimately the winning will take care of itself. But in terms of trying to put a number on it, that's not fair. And if I got up here and told you that I expect to be 10-3, I'm telling the team that it's okay to lose 3 games, and it's never okay to lose. We're going to prepare to win, and you know, however good enough we are, and whatever the level of coaching that our staff does, we'll get what we deserve in the end.
Speaking of the standard of excellence, did that have some correlation with new uniforms, new helmets, new locker room? Was there a swagger that you were hoping, an attitude maybe that you were hoping that brought?
No, not necessarily. I mean, the standard of excellence, there is a tradition of winning here. There is a standard of excellence in place that we're inheriting. We're changing some of the things that we focus on, but that's from one coach to another. That's not a big deal. It doesn't mean that what happened before us was wrong and we're right. It just means it's a little bit different philosophy. The changes to the uniform and first of all, the changes to the locker room were a necessity. For anybody who thinks that we did this for any other reason than it was absolutely necessary. Our facilities were well below average, and frankly, they were hurting us in recruiting. It was hurting us. I mean, you'll get a chance later on in camp that we'll give you access to see what we've done, but it's not Oregon. There's not we didn't put a PlayStation in every guy's locker, but what we did was just get us to where we need to be competitive. The uniforms, and it wasn't change for the sake of change, but I wanted the players to get enthused a little bit, and certainly the uniform change helped that, and frankly, it helps in recruiting. I mean, keep in mind who my target audience is. They're 16, 17, and 18 years old, and then our players. So we're talking about what can we do to make ourselves more attractive to 16 to 22-year-olds, and not necessarily the traditionalist who's been watching. We don't need new uniforms. They've looked the same since 1975. I understand, I respect your opinion, but you're not my target audience. And college football has changed. That's the reality of it. Go on to footballscoop.com. Every day, somebody's unveiling a new helmet, a new uniform. I mean, that stuff, in the end, is it the be-all, end-all in recruiting? No, but it helps. And it's all part of it.
How much do you think this institution, along with tradition, needed
needed?
I don't know if that's for me to say. I have no frame of reference to what the university needed. I've only been here 7 months. I haven't earned that right to that opinion. I know that most of what we've done has been met with some enthusiasm. I can speak to this. I can feel a buzz in the community about what we're doing. I felt the buzz Friday night at the women's event. We capped that thing at 150 because we felt like, all right, let's make this a pilot program. It's our first year. We don't know how people are going to react. We could have sold 400 tickets to that if we wanted to. I mean, with 10 days to go, we're sold out, and we're fielding 35, 40 calls a day. There is a buzz in the community now. There's a lot of positive energy. I think there's positive energy on campus. One of the things that I've done this summer is every time there was a new student orientation here on campus, if I was in town, I went and spoke at it to talk to the students about being invested in their peers, the student athletes. These are your friends. Come out and support the athletic department across the board, not just football. And I can feel a buzz on the campus. Hopefully we can engage the faculty and staff by doing things like faculty staff appreciation, come out and be with us. My goal for this thing on a Friday before a home game, I would love to see everybody on this campus in silver and blue. I'd love to not see one USC or Long Beach State sweatshirt that a student's wearing. I would love to see this place silver and blue on Fridays, including faculty and staff. And I think the energy that we're building, we're starting to head in that direction. Now, ultimately, we got to go win. We got to perform. We got to put a product out there that people will be proud of, and that's the process that we begin now.
What are some of the things you've done in the locker rooms? Can you talk about it?
It looks completely different. The lockers used to be very short and wide. They ate up a lot of space. We would have rows down the middle of the room, so it felt very claustrophobic in there. What we did was the carpeting was old and beat up. What we did was we took out all the lockers, replaced them. They're 7 foot high now. We're able to house the entire team on the outer walls, so the locker room feels significantly larger. There's clearly more space for our guys. It just in general, it looks classier. We did some fathead work in the locker room as well. It just in general, it's got a better feel to it. That's all. And it's good for your players to take a break, come back, and find something new. I mean, a lot of even people like Tom Coughlin will do that. They'll come back, they'll find something new. This year it was large. Next year it'll be something small. But for them to come back and find something new is a nice little boost of energy. So, and we, like I said, talking to Chad, our plan is to on media day on Sunday. When I know the players won't be in there, we'll give you access if you want to go in and take a look. I just wish some guys had a frame of reference as to what the before looked like, because you'd really appreciate the after. So
was there no player who saw the locker room until yesterday?
A couple of guys who helped us out with the women's event on Friday night, we allowed them a sneak peek, but really, I mean, they were waiting outside the locker room door at noon yesterday for our equipment guys to get done doing what they're doing and unlock it. So it was fun to go in there and see their reactions.
Probably like Christmas for them.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for a college football player to come in and see the place where you probably spend a whole lot of your time completely redone and cleaned up, it's a big deal.
A lot of the talk the last 10 years or so has been that Boise's been kind of the model, that's what Nevada needs to be. In your mind, do you have a model program? Is it just your own creation? What is your standard? What do you want to build this program into for the time you?
Well, it's already a consistent winner. I mean, you're 8 straight bowl games, so it's already a consistent winner. I think sometimes, and this is my opinion and my opinion only, I think sometimes people in town don't know how good they've got it. We're trying to be Boise. There are a lot of people that have been trying to beat Chris Ault in Nevada for a long time. I mean, there are places in the country where 8 straight bowl games would be a miracle. So, I mean, there is a pretty good standard here. Am I trying to model ourselves after Boise? I am not. I'm not trying to model ourselves after anybody. What we've done is try to take the best of all the experiences that I've had and the other coaches have had, and try to meld that all together into what we're going to look like. But the first thing you do when they ask you, hey, are you interested in this job? You got to sit and spend a lot of time and envision what you want it to look like. And believe me, I know what I want this team to look like. I have a very clear vision of what I want this team to look like. And we started shaping that the first January 21st at the first team meeting, and through spring ball and off season, and now the summer, and here we are at a training camp, and we're going to do a lot more shaping here, and hopefully, by the time we get to that BYU game, we can say, boy, that's what we thought it was going to look like.
How big is this first training camp, this first summer, as far as setting your tone for your whole career here and putting everything in place?
And I'm not naive. It's a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal. There are a lot of things that I believe in philosophically that we are going to put into place. Before, if those things failed or they succeeded, it wasn't my name that was next to them. I got to watch other people try things and either have them work or have them fail, but it was never my name next to it. So now it's my name next to it, and I'm aware of that, and that's okay. I welcome the challenge. It's part of the gig, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to take the 17 years of doing this professionally and the probably 8 to 10 more that I was really around it and paying attention, and to finally have the opportunity to say, I really believe in that, I didn't believe in that, and now we're going to put our plan in place and we're going to see how it works. Now, we're not going to be judged off of half a year, 1 year. I mean, these things, things take time. You got to recruit classes, and you got to let these things play out. But I'm excited for the opportunity to put our program in place.
You've had a chance to be here for a little while and get to know some of these guys and bring these guys in. When you talk to these kids and you say, well, we are Nevada, what defines a Nevada football player in your opinion?
Team first. I mean, I don't mind. Brock Hecking is a great example of what we're looking for with today's guy. The mullet, right? The dyed blonde mullet, the do-rag, those things. A lot of people would look at him and say, that guy's he wants to be an individual. When in reality, he's the ultimate team player. He's the ultimate team player. He works his tail off. He does everything you ask him to do. He practices really hard. He practices to win. And then you see these young kids come in the bridge program, and he's got the freshman out there on his own doing extra. Those are the kind of guys that we want. That's what a Nevada football player is. Cody Fajardo is a Nevada football player. He works his tail off. Football's important to him. It's never about I or me. It's about we and us. I mean, that's what we're trying to build here. We're trying to build something where no single person, player or coach, including myself, is greater than the program. It's about us. And frankly, one of the reasons that you see a lot of this stuff is that, it's one thing to continually say it. It's another thing to show it to them that we're going to walk around with a sense of pride with this logo on our shirt. We're going to walk around with a sense of pride about representing this university, this community of Reno, this state. We are the flagship state university. We're gonna have some pride about that, and we're gonna be proud. We're gonna be proud about what we're building and what we represent, and those guys embody that. And we've tried very hard to find guys like that in recruiting, that they're gonna make decisions with the program in mind first and not themselves.
You brought in a new coaching staff. You lost a couple of guys, had to replace a couple of guys. What are your thoughts now about your feelings with your staff?
I'm very, very pleased with the staff, but we haven't gone through a football season yet. I mean, we haven't been through live bullets. Now, I have no reason to believe that we won't continue to be really good at what we're doing. I think you're seeing, I think you can see the efforts that we've put into in recruiting, you know, clearly guys went out and really worked hard in the spring, and we have been a very active recruiting staff, and that, you know, people can say, well, they're just a bunch of recruiters. Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football. You can't win without players, and I think we've proven that we are really a really good recruiting staff. The football part of it, I have no concerns about the staff going in, but ultimately we got to prove it on game day. I think we have a great mix of. I mean, you look at our two coordinators, both younger guys, but then you have, you know, Nick Rolovich has got Jim Hoffer to lean on, who's called plays at 3 or 4 different places and been a head coach. You know, on the defensive side, Scotty Hazelton's got Mike Bradison to lean on, who's been through a lot of battles. So I think guys have played off each other well, and we've complemented each other well. And I know they're all good men. I mean, I've been around all their families. I'm confident in our ability to look after our kids and be great teachers. And now we just got to go put it in place.
To be played, are you having fun?
I am having fun. I'll have. No, I mean, not at this particular moment. Yeah, I am. I'm having fun. You know, I can't wait to get out on the practice field, fire up the music, blow the whistle, and let's go to work. I mean, this is, for a football coach, this is the best time of year. I mean, I'm a little sad that it's interesting. You hit different points in your life, right? When I was younger, even when I was married, you know, my wife was a very strong, independent, bright woman. I knew that I could go to camp and she'd be just fine. It's a little harder now when you got a 4-year-old and you got a 1-year-old and you got to kiss them goodbye. And the reality of it is, it's gonna be few and far between over the next 2 or 3 weeks when you get to see them awake. You know, I found myself very early this morning sneaking into both their rooms just to take a look at them and give them a quick kiss goodbye. But you know, every football coach goes through it. That's part of what we do. And training camp's probably the hardest part of the year because, you know, as a young father myself, during the year I'm very cognizant of setting aside a night or two during the week to make sure everybody gets to see their families. But this time of year that doesn't exist, so we got to grind it out. But I mean, you guys will be out there. You know, one of the cool things about this profession, you'll be out there at the end of a practice doing interviews, and you'll see half a dozen kids, you know, chasing each other down on the turf and blowing whistles. And I mean, that's part of the fun too, is to be able to share that with our families. So.
Is this a final roster, or do you expect a couple more?
Yeah, I would call that pretty final. I mean, that's the 105 we're coming into camp with. You know, I know where you're going. You want to know where Danucci's at. Darren had a physical setback that you know, I'm not going to get into any further other than, you know, I anticipate he still will be a member of the program, but the physical setback made it such that it probably wasn't going to play this year anyway. So I'm not going to use a spot in the 105 on a guy that probably won't be ready physically. Still, you know, he had accepted admission to the school, so I mean, I anticipate he'll be here on the first day of school, and if something changes, I'll let you know. We did add a guy. I don't know if he's been officially admitted to school yet, so I'm not going to talk about it any further. Once we get the green light and he's good to practice, then I'll address it then. But there were some subtle changes, but nothing too dramatic.
Anything else, guys?
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.